Welcome to Real Talk English. We all love using new technology to make our lives easier, right? I mean, tools like ChatGPT are everywhere. But what if that tool you love could actually be bad for your brain?
You have to look at the risks and the benefits.
But we embrace convenience before understanding consequence.
What if it could even increase your risk of serious long-term problems? Well, today we are diving into a really powerful warning from two of the top brain experts out there.
ChatGPT is going to potentially increase your risk of dementia.
Wow. Okay, that is a huge statement, isn't it? It comes from a psychiatrist, Dr. Daniel Amen. And in this explainer, we're going to break down his conversation with a neuroscientist, Dr. Terry Sijnowski, to really understand the science behind this warning and, more importantly, what we can do to use AI without harming our minds. So let's get right into it. The whole reason for this warning comes from a university study that really got these doctors worried, and it all started with this huge reaction from the scientific community. He says this study sent a shockwave across the world. I mean, that's a pretty powerful phrase, right? It's about a new study from MIT that just completely surprised researchers. Let's break down what that expression really means. Yup, exactly. When something sends a shockwave, it means the news was so big, so unexpected, that it shocked pretty much everyone who heard it. So, what on earth did this study find that was so shocking? Well, here it is. The study found a 47% collapse in brain activity when people used AI to help them write. Just think about that for a second. That's nearly half of their brain power just switching off. And the difference between the two groups was it was night and day. The people using ChatGPT, they had the weakest brain activity and didn't even really feel like the work was theirs. But the group who didn't use any tools, their brains lit up, activating all these different networks, and they felt a real sense of pride and ownership. But that's not even the whole story. So, this is the really crucial part. It wasn't just about what was happening in their brains while they were writing. Using the AI had a direct negative effect on their memory, literally minutes after they finished the task. And that word plunged is so important here. When something plunges, it doesn't just go down a little bit. It falls hard and fast. Think of it like jumping off a high dive into a deep pool. Their memory didn't just get a little worse, it totally dropped off a cliff. And this might be the most worrying part of the whole study. This effect, it wasn't temporary. Even when they took the AI away and forced the group to write on their own, their brains just didn't kick back into high gear. This is such a great metaphor. To be in low gear, if you've ever driven a car, you know what this feels like. You're moving, but you're not using much power. You're not going very fast. It means the brain basically got lazy, got used to not working hard, and just stayed at that low effort level. So if you put all these pieces together, you get the big final warning from the experts. If we misuse these tools, if we just use them to be lazy, our brains will get weaker and weaker over time. You've probably heard this idiom before, go downhill. It means to slowly get worse. You might say someone's health is going downhill. Well, the doctors are saying the exact same thing can happen to our brain's health. Okay, so I know that was a pretty serious warning, but it's not all bad news. The experts are not saying we should all panic and stop using AI completely. No. Instead, they believe there's a much smarter and healthier way to use these incredible tools. So what's the real problem here? It's not the technology itself. It's how we're using it. The biggest danger is that we're letting AI do all the hard work for us. Or, as the experts put it, we've deferred our thinking to it. Let's break that down. To defer something just means you pass the responsibility to someone or something else. It's like asking your friend to finish your homework for you. When we defer our thinking, we're essentially telling the AI, hey, you do the thinking part. I'll just copy and paste. And that is the habit that makes our brains weaker. So how do we fix this? Well, the experts give us 3 simple steps. First, use AI to amplify your own thinking. That means make it bigger and stronger, not replace it completely. Second, interact with it. Ask it questions, challenge its answers, have a conversation. And third, make sure you alternate. Do some tasks with AI, but then make sure you're doing other tasks using just your own brain to keep it in shape. And this really brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of wisdom from these experts. It's a simple idea, but it's so powerful. The best results in the long run, for your brain and your life, often come from choosing the path that takes a little more mental effort. I mean, when we do it the hard way, we're choosing a tougher path. It sounds kind of bad, right? But think about it like going to the gym. Lifting weights is hard. That's the point. The struggle is what makes you stronger. It's the exact same idea for our brains. The effort itself is what creates the value. All right, we have covered a ton of important
Because you're
ground
not
today.
part
So
of
let's
the
just take a minute to
experience
do a
of
quick
writing it.
review of the
So
key
there's
vocabulary
no
we learned
way the
and the most important
information
ideas from this
gets
whole
encoded.
discussion.
Now,
Let's quickly run through those great expressions. Remember sent a shockwave? That's for really surprising news. Or when memory scores plunged? That's a huge sudden drop. We learned that letting our brain stay in low gear is a bad habit that can cause it to go downhill. The big mistake is deferring our thinking to AI, when really we should do it the hard way to get the best results for our brain. So, what's the bottom line? What are the big takeaways here? 1. Misusing AI by just letting it think for you can seriously weaken your brain. 2. This could lead to really big health risks down the road. 3. The solution isn't to stop using AI, but to use it as a partner, a tool to amplify your own thinking. And finally, number 4, doing the hard work of thinking is like exercise for your brain. It's absolutely essential to keeping it strong for life. Now that we've learned all the key words and broken down the main ideas, I really encourage you to go check out the original video. It's the perfect way to test your listening skills and see just how much you can understand now. So the next time you open up ChatGPT, just ask yourself, am I using this to make my brain stronger, or am I letting it make my brain lazy? The choice you make could be way more important than you think. If you found this explainer helpful, please hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Real Talk English. Thanks for watching.